Hi there, this is Brian Terrian from the Disability Digest, and happy Veterans Day. This video, I'll cover some information that I am in hopes will help you understand how your veterans benefits work with Social Security disability benefits. I'm going to talk about how to get approved, and if you're already approved, how to keep your disability benefits. I'm going to talk about the healthcare piece, how the VA, Medicare, Tricare work together, and some tips on that. And then I know in my experience over the last 17 years in dealing with people that like the request to generate extra income or get a side hustle going is at an all-time high. So I'm going to give you our very best tips and resources to help you supplement your Social Security disability. First, before I get started, I collected a few things from around my house here for today's presentation. Fire hydrant, the theme of that is you folks keep us safe, and that's why I brought that in here. And then found this Coca-Cola case, which is, of course, displaying the flag. So, piece of Americana. I expect some of you may have preferred a Budweiser case, but I did not have one. So here at the Disability Digest, for 17 years, we've been helping people get, keep, and maximize their disability benefits. And I've had the privilege of working with a lot of veterans. So that's where this information comes from. If you are new here, I would encourage you to subscribe and ring the bell so you get upcoming videos to help you. We have live events that we host most commonly on Wednesday on different topics and guest speakers. All right, so here we go. First of all, Social Security and veterans benefits. If you have a VA rating, a lot of people ask, well, okay, how does that impact my ability to get Social Security disability? And frankly, in my experience, and there's 191,000 people here, and they're not all vets, but I've worked with a lot of vets, it is difficult for veterans to get their disability benefits approved, even if they're at a 100% rating. But you definitely can apply for both. And if you cannot work, you should definitely get that extra income because you paid for it and you're entitled to it. So with the VA rating, you have a percentage of rating of disability, which is different in the Social Security world. You're either approved or you're not approved. There's no rating-based system. So one would think that the higher your rating, if you're at 100% or unemployable, then there's going to be certainly some influence on your Social Security decision. And that is true. There is one regulation that Social Security has, which is an expedite. So if you're rated at 100%, then they will expedite your decision. That doesn't mean that there's, excuse me, any favoritism for your decision. It just means that they're going to make a quicker decision. And that can be good and that can be bad. If you can get all of your information in on a timely manner and then that goes through and it's an expedited decision, then that could work for you. But if it's rushed and not everything is in there, that's not so good. So don't be confused by that if you're new going through the process that, okay, I've got 100%, I see that 100% regulation, that means that, oh, it's just easy. That's not the case. So here's the challenges that I have and others have faced in helping veterans get what they're entitled to with Social Security. I'm going to address that and then how to get around it. One is the medical records at the VA. I'll say this as politely as I can. They're not the same as civilian doctors. And you might see different doctors. And the medical record reporting is not as accurate. It doesn't clearly demonstrate the pattern of treatment and the limitations. So it's difficult for Social Security to look into those records and see that you qualify. That's the challenge. The second part of it is a lot of vets that come that have had combat experience are young, 30s and 40s. And when you're young and you're going through the disability system, Social Security looks at you as a big price tag. Like, we're going to have to pay you Social Security funds already, and they make it difficult for you. Then the next thing that I want to cover is veterans are taught to play hurt, if you will, if you have something going on, to get back in the game. And what that creates for an environment is where you're trained not to, you're trained not to complain. You're trained not to communicate your limitations as clearly as somebody that's not in that environment, that's a civilian. So you may have a higher degree of severity, but it's not in your medical records because you're not reporting that. So that's the other thing. And believe it or not, there's other circles of like networking groups of people that help people get approved that have said, if a veteran goes to court for their disability case, it is possible that they're going to end up in front of another veteran. Because a lot of the judges, the Social Security judges, are veterans, and they've been stating or claiming or complaining about a bias that the judge is back to work, and why aren't you back to work? Like, they served and now they're a judge. So there really isn't anything you can do about their bias. But what you can do and that we help you to do for like no charge, is to understand like how to get your case in a winnable format. And so overcoming all of those obstacles that I just pointed out can be done by consistent treatment and communicating your limitations for each and every visit. Like if they're physical limitations, like you're not able to sit or stand or bend or stoop or lift your child up or lift a gallon of milk or things like that. Or if you have mental limitations, what triggers you? What is the issue with being around people? And those communicated in each one of your visits. Even if you're approved for disability, folks, I'm going to get on to that next. This is really critical to do this, because then when Social Security comes through and they look at your records, it's less important the doctor that treats you, but they're going to see that you went for an appointment, you were treated, and you have limitations. And that's the criteria for getting approved. So, and for those of you that are already approved for disability, 20% of disability recipients are being reviewed now annually. And if we look at what might happen with the next administration change, the chances of that, even if it stays as a Democratic administration, the number of disability reviews has continued to go up. It's a way that they view that they can save money. And unfortunately, people are taken off of benefits that shouldn't be, and a lot of that is because of their medical records. So just make sure you keep that tight. At the end of this video, I'm going to put up some different resources for you to have a look at. So next is the VA, Tricare, and Medicare. Once you become approved for your Social Security disability benefits, you are then Medicare eligible after you've received the equivalent of 24 payments. If you're just using the VA, then you can continue to use the VA for your treatment, and you can use your Medicare as additional benefits. That's a great combination that you have there. So when I say additional benefits, when you look at a Medicare strategy, some plans have all the benefits packed in the ability to see doctors and specialists, not all of them, but most of them. And other plans have benefits packed in other things like shopping credits or flex cards that are like cash, or shopping credits. I already said that. Gym memberships. So you can look at that, say, okay, well, I've got my treatment going on and my drugs over here at the VA, and now I can use Medicare for this. So it's a great combination. If you're on Tricare, word of caution. Tricare and traditional Medicare Advantage plans, there can be a conflict. And the conflict is you have your prescriptions covered through Tricare. And if you get a Medicare Advantage plan that they have a prescription drug plan associated with them, then it could knock you off of your Tricare, and you do not want to do that. Tricare is a fantastic program. From what I see, it's definitely something that you want to keep. What you can do is you can get just a Medicare Advantage plan without the drug. component to it. And that would give you the ability to see different civilian doctors. You could pick up extra benefits like a gym membership, maybe some shopping credits. It could reduce your Part B premium. So there's different ways in which you can approach it. So what I'm saying here is it's really a case-by-case situation to set up your strategy for your health care, and there's applications for all, okay? Next thing I want to cover is working. If you're a Social Security disability recipient and also receiving your veterans benefits, you can work and supplement your disability income. It's something that we help you understand how to do it here and how much you can make. At the time of this recording, for this year, 2022, you can earn up to $970 a month. It is going up next year. So that means that that's $970 after your expenses. So you can do something on your own, or you can go and work for somebody, but it gives you the opportunity to do that. What we have done here is we have interviewed individuals about what is it that they have done to supplement their disability. So most have maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, and some days they can go and some days they can't. So understanding what's worked for them hopefully will help you understand what could work for you, or maybe you're already doing something and you can learn something from them. So around this video, you can have a look for the link to that. It'll bring you to a web page where there's the top options that are there. There's traditional employment. There's working for government agencies. There is how to build a website, how to build a YouTube channel, how to do like a side hustle, buying stuff from a garage sale and flipping it. So there's different things like that that you can learn how to do. One of the last things I want to mention to you before I close up is, I mentioned this in an earlier video. There was a great documentary called Expediting that talks about the healthcare system. First 2/3 of it are about the U.S. traditional healthcare system, civilian healthcare. But the last 2/3 is about the progress that the VA has made in pivoting from what they have done in the past to new methods of treatment. It's been very encouraging. Others that have watched it have found it encouraging as well. So I'll put a link around the video for that. I'd encourage you to check it out. And maybe you're being treated or looking to be treated or not happy with your treatment, and it could give you some insights on how to communicate with your team to get ideal treatment. So last, I am truly grateful for the service that you have provided for our country. Again, I have not served, and we live in a wonderful place, and it's in thanks to you. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope you stay tuned for more, and we have the opportunity to help you out. Make it a great Veterans Day.